In this session, we're going to discuss Technician View and how it ties into the time clock. So step one for Technician View is you must set up a technician as an employee and also make him a user with a login. So if I go to my setup, I scroll down to security. I want to go put them in as a user. Here I have Sam Socket. He's a technician, and I gave him a role of technician. Step two is to go to the employee himself and connect him to the user. So what you will do is open them up, go to security login, click on the binoculars, go find them in your user list, and then hit OK and make sure they're connected. So now Sam is connected as a user and he's a technician. For anyone that's going to use time clock, what you want to do is go out to their individual computers and log in the system and make sure that you go to the workstation settings and enable the time clock, or else they won't be able to use it. So you need to do that at each workstation. So we have Sam Socket as a technician. He's going to be logging in. Here I'm going to look at this as a service advisor. He has these three jobs assigned to him. As you can see, I'm using color coding to mark my technician and my little flags. So let's go see what Sam is going to look at. Close this up. We're going to log in as Sam. So we'll pick Sam as the user, put in his password, hit OK. So as soon as he signs in, it's going to let him know exactly how many hours are remaining in the day. Okay. Now when it comes to attendance, you got to be very careful here. You want to be real explicit when you're training your technicians. If I do not immediately log into a job line, in other words, if I do not open a ticket and immediately log into a job, it will not put him in for attendance. So the first step would be to go straight to the home. Go to home, click on time clock. Then what they need to do is select their username, put in their password, hit OK. That will immediately put them in for attendance. You know, it may be 20, 30 minutes before they start working on a job when they come in the morning especially. So all we got to do is close it, and now they're in for attendance. Let's go back to our work orders. So from here, all they have to simply do is double click on a work order that they want to start on. As soon as they do that, a little tech assistant will pop up over here on the right side. It'll start flashing, pick a job to start working on. So if I'm ready to go do my inspection, I can go do my inspection. Click it. It will immediately put this blue line to the left of it. This will also show up on the work order for the service advisor to let them know exactly which line they are clocked in on. Now, if there's no labor hours, it's kind of hard to measure efficiency here. Okay? But as they change jobs, when they go from one line to the next, it will ask them what they want to do. So if I go to change this, and I say, well, I'm done with this job, do I want to mark it as completed? Or no, I just want to go do something else, I can do that. So when I say mark it as completed, that's letting everybody know that he's finished with this inspection, this particular labor line. And then he can go start working on something else. Really nice thing about this also, if you'll notice when I go and open up my little tech view here. Oh, we did mark that as completed, sorry. We're going to go start working on our oil change. It will also let them know if the parts have been received. See, we haven't received the oil filter yet, but he can start on it. You notice my little flag changes here. It's completed, and now we're working on this one. At any time, these technicians can go into the inspection form. They can fill out the inspection form as needed. They can simply just double click, mark a line. They can even use the little drop-ins or type in whatever information they want. And we can even go add a package. Here we have a previous job that was done. We can even reuse that job. And we'll put that job right onto the work order. Okay. You'll notice also that if you have a split work order, you'll see this labor line has a different technician on it, how it's grayed out. So when I'm looking at this little tech view, you don't see, let's go get off of here. So you don't see that job. Doesn't even appear here. The only choices he have is the oil change or the wipers. You'll notice when I move my mouse, it boxes it in. So we'll not let them clock in on another labor line if there's somebody else assigned to it. Some other features that you have back here for a technician, they can pull up deferred work. We can look at any deferred work that was from previous jobs. Okay. Now I cannot add deferred work. The service advisor would have to do that. History, we can go pull up history. This is kind of nice because you can go pull up a line, see what jobs were done. When was the last time an alternator was performed on here? You can even double click on the invoice number, open up the invoice, still get the details. On the right side, you can pull up the vehicle, update any vehicle information. Maybe you need to put in a VIN or a unit ID or a color or something. You can do that. Put in any notes. Still look at invoices and history here. Pull up any reminders and deferred work. Cannot update the contact information. Cannot update that. We can look at it, but can't change it. Can change the flags. Cannot change the colors. Cannot assign tags. It's going to see the total amount of labor hours on here. They can update the mileage when they're finished with the job. So if they did some test driving, certainly document that. Ooh. There we go. Can't change technician or service advisor. They do have the messaging. If it's turned on, they can message back and forth with a service advisor. Send a little message to them. Where's the parts at? Hit enter, and they can send that, and that'll show up on the service advisor screen. If you have the Dymo printer hooked up to the system, they can go print an oil change sticker or a key tag here. They have access to the tire fitment guide. Access to the vehicle spec card. So here they'll still be able to find all of their fluids, their viscosities, their capacities, brake measurements, and then down at the bottom will be the tire fitment. You can pull up Carfax history here. Carfax history. If you have the Mitchell Pro Demand connected to the system, they can access the Pro Demand. So they can access from here. You can look up service intervals for this vehicle. And again, you can always change the mileage here. Look at different intervals. Now, if there's a part line that has not been fulfilled, they can click on it. Do have the capability of jumping to inventory and go pulling that part from inventory. So if they happen to know which filter they need, they can simply just click it and draw it right from inventory and put it on the ticket. If not, they can do the catalog lookup. Cannot order anything here. Cannot order anything, but they can go look it up. So they might use this to go look up and also see if they have an inventory. Again, depending on how many vendors you have, they can search different vendors or go straight to inventory. If this happens to be the filter we need, we can apply it, and there we go. In the tech view, they cannot add additional lines. So if I try to right-click on this, see, nothing will happen. Nothing's happening. They're not allowed to modify, cannot change lines. Now, some people, what they will do is they'll actually have on these packages an extra line or two in case they need to pull something from inventory. And if that's the case, you can have just blank lines here and then go use that to go and search for inventory and pull apart. Now you can drag the lines around also, see, so they can move them from one job to another. And this just closes, and you save and close and actually change where you're at with the job so they can change the status. On the home ribbon, they can access technical support, so they can email support, they can message from here. Very little on the setup that can be done other than maybe look at the resources or some inventory. They can go into the time clock here. Utilities, catalog, inventory, part search. Deleted item recovery be very minimal on what they could do here. And they have access to reports. Now typically in the reports, it's only going to be their own report, so it'll be user only. So if I go pull this report for Sam, it's only going to see Sam's stuff, nobody else's. You can, as a manager or shop owner, go in and create a dashboard. It's a little bit tricky. What you have to do is you have to go create it, deploy it to them, and then you have to come in here and execute it. So you're going to have to actually give them the capability of modifying this dashboard to execute it. And then you can set up an automatic execution. Set it up for the dashboard to control the date range, have it refresh automatically and execute it. And then you'll be able to run a dashboard for them. And this again takes me back to work orders or contacts. So at any point in time, if they need to quit working, go to lunch, end of the day, all they simply have to do is just go up to time clock here and clock out for attendance. Or they can even clock in on an event. So now I've clocked out. There's my attendance hours. It'll let me know my clock time. Hours total on the invoices. Running productivity and efficiency. End of the day, you just log right out. And that's your technician view.